Mrs. Green Apple, we are back continuing our track by track listen through to the Attitude album, and we've got down to the song How To. Now, this is an interesting place because we've been going through this album steadily for a while, and now we're getting towards the end. And after How To, well, this is the last song that seems to have a music video or a lyric video or anything like that, and then we've got a run of 3 songs that seem to be album only. So I'm really excited to see what we get from the last 3 songs, but I'm also kind of intrigued to see what the last music video worthy song on this album offers us. I have to say that for an album that is 17 tracks long, so far I've been really taken by the fact that there is some absolute classics on here. There's some real bangers. There's a really great sense of variation. Yeah, I'm just enjoying this album. Now, as always, I'm 100% honest about my opinion, so it's like to have proper conversations about this. I'd like to see what you guys think as well. We've got songs like Lovin' and Usaja Nayo, Usoja, sorry. It's really hard to pronounce it when I'm reading it in English characters. Usoja Nayo. Which, we got songs like that which maybe weren't so much my thing, but then we've got other songs which have been much more sort of engaging that have really taken me. Obviously, we all know things like Ao Tonatsu. I'm just really looking forward to this. Now, a couple of people, one of the comments that has come up quite a lot during this is people talking about lyrics. I've left a few comments responding to why I don't actually listen to the lyrics when I do the reactions. I mean, I do understand quite a lot of them anyway, just by hearing the Japanese. But there's a reason why I don't comment a lot on the lyrics. And I'm actually thinking about doing a separate video where I'm just going to talk about the subject of Mrs. Green Apple's lyrics and just kind of explain why that's not something that I particularly dive into. So you might see a video like that coming out on this channel sometime soon. I'll try and pop that in there. So remember to subscribe to the channel, YouTube everything, if you want to make sure to see that. But this one is called How To. No idea what direction we're going to go into, but I'm loving it. We can see from the thumbnail we got a little plane sitting on the runway, and the very first frame is looking out of an airplane window. So no idea where this is going to go, but I'm just looking forward to it. Mrs. Green Apple have really been offering up just some awesome stuff so far. And definitely, once again, justifying why they are this massive name. I wanted to get into that, having seen so much of them around about Japan, seeing so much of their advertising, their presence, and hearing their music loved by so many people. It's been really interesting to kind of get a grasp for that, because when you think about the top flight artists in so many countries, they're kind of like the equivalent of second screen entertainment. You listen to the top flight artists in a lot of countries and it's just really sort of common denominator. But I really feel like Mrs. Green Apple are highlighting what is so great about Japanese music, that even your biggest name artists can really be delivering stuff that has songwriting, integrity, and artistry behind it. So yeah, this is all part of why I love the Japanese music scene, from the live houses all the way up to the top of the charts. Anyway, let's jump in with this. This is their I was about to say this is their brand new song, not by quite a few years. This is the next song on our track by track listen through. This is How To. Let's give it a blast. 'Wow, she's got the whole plane to herself. Alright, I'm liking that intro. Already loving the contrast between the loud and the quiet here. Oh, the snare. I love the sound of this. It's like so thick. This is how anthemic should feel. This is so beautifully atmospheric because you know what's coming. You can feel the tension rising. And the drum work again. Nice how it just drops in there. We're gonna go a bit dubstep, are we?
生き方は自由よ荷物はどの程度寝てつくのもいいけど景色見るのもいいわね生き方は自由よあなたなり
Oh, that bass tone's nice. You can really feel the bass there. Very tangible. Oh, nice build up. Okay, we're gonna get a bit more of a build up this time. Building up to the ending. That was nice. Hold it back a couple of beats. All right, I'll just stop it before the next song plays. That that was quite something. That was quite something. Right, so there's also a great advert for this airline. I'm guaranteed that this was used on an advert, wasn't it? I have to say though, this is one of those ones where I have to tell you why I love it with a lot of interesting caveats, because this is the sort of song where if I just heard this in isolation, and I've been saying this a lot about Mrs. Green Apple songs, if I heard this in isolation, I would probably really like it, but I would be thinking, oh, okay, what's the rest of their stuff like? But the reason why this works so well is twofold. First of all, it has so much impact. I love that. And when it comes in, it's got this big, thick sound. You've got like that kind of almost synthetic thing going on with the bass, and the guitars are really thick, and you can feel the keyboards in there. It's giving so much thickness to the sound. It sounds heavy, but not in like a heavy metal way, just kind of this way that your ears are full. And then you've got the chorus is that big whoa. It's got a kind of a anthemic quality that permeates through every single inch of that chorus. Sonically, the way it's produced, the way it's mixed, the way the instruments all come together, it just sounds like this big, thick push of sound, which is so, it's so rewarding. It's interesting because that thick sound comes in straight away at the beginning, and it shows how well it's mixed and well it's balanced, that even without a build-up, just immediately it sounds really good. So I love the energy that's put into that part, and then the fact that this song is entirely built on contrast, light and dark. The fact that we have those verses where you just get like a boom, 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 boom. It's just a little bit of very light synth work there, and it's really interesting sounding synth. It's kind of kind of sparse sounding. It's got this kind of echoey boom, boom, boom sort of feeling. Again, I hate to say this, I can keep on coming back to it. Even if one guy is writing everything, I have to say I love the drum work on this album. And again, the little drum fills that she does there in the verses are just brilliant. You get that first snares on the beat, and then the next time we hear the snare, like a couple of bars later, is off beat. So again, it's kind of meaning that you're listening to the verse and it's not predictable. Even in the verses, it's kind of just got a little bit of unpredictability. You get one snare on beat, then one snare off beat, and then the tom roll. So each time the verse goes round, dum, 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 the drum lands in a slightly different place. I love that. Let's see if we can pick up that point.
So
the first snare lands on beat. The next one, off beat. And then toms. And then into the chorus. So even in that, when you've only got 4 times round, each time the drum does something slightly different to keep you like off balance. I noticed that he used a similar pattern in the second verse as well. But what I really like about that is, again, even just in those light little moments, keeping it interesting, stopping it, even in a space like that, which is only a few seconds long, avoiding too much repetition, it really works, because when you're going minimalist, repetition is your enemy. Anything that just makes a minimalist bit look lazy is your enemy. You can be minimalist, but you also have to show a little bit of intelligence. So the beautiful choice of that very light synth with some really interesting high impact, but very sort of offbeat, sharp, slightly unpredictable drumming, great. And it also does a great job of building up the tension, because you kind of know, as the song started in such a heavy way, you know that's what it's coming back round to. So the minute you're into that quiet bit, that bum, 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 I keep on repeating that, but the minute you're into that verse bit, you're kind of, you're waiting. You're like, okay, this is the quiet bit. This is the quiet bit. We're coming back around to the loud bit. And so I love the way that it does this sort of really great job of building up the tension with those little unpredictable drum bits. Oh, is it coming in? Is it not coming in? It's really good at managing that. So when the punch comes back in, it's already a really nice thick sound that it delivers, as I mentioned, but it comes back in so much more rewarding because you feel the tension is built up. So you do that twice. You have two verses that are pretty similar. And then when we get into the bridge, you have a longer build up. And I kind of, this is why I was playing around having fun with it, because you could kind of tell that they were slowly building up to that last chorus. And again, they did it in a nice way, because, we had two verses that have gone very quiet and then suddenly loud. So have the bridge is more of a slow build up. And then that last bit where just on the beat where you expect it to come in, we get a little this holds it a couple of beats extra and then drops in. Love that. Again, just another technique to just get every little ounce of tension into that build up. Yeah, beautifully sort of build you up with the excitement. Really love that. Really rewardingly done. I have to give credit as well. The video is very beautiful. Filmed in Thailand, I'm assuming. I've been to Thailand before, but it was years ago. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. It looks like it's probably Thailand. I should be looking for Thai writing on the sign so that I don't look like such an idiot and I can just go, oh yes, of course it's Thailand. I don't see any Thai writing. Oh God. My eyes are not good enough. I don't see any Thai writing. It's somewhere in Asia. I've been to like places like Vietnam, Philippines, Thailand. I don't know, it could be Cambodia or somewhere, but I'm assuming it's Thailand. The video is really well done. Obviously, very good airline advert. Yeah, it definitely looks like Thailand to me. God, I hope I'm right. I have to give credit. The video was really good, moving in a nice, quick way. The funny thing is, this little bit where they're performing in front of the plane, this is the kind of thing where you've got a big open space. This kind of shot can look a bit boring if it's done badly, but I like these sort of on-angle shots that are moving around. It gives everything this real kinetic energy. It really makes everything feel like it's moving. Also, credit, he's moving around a lot as well. His physical expression in this was really cool. And that plays off against the dancer or dancers? Couldn't be sure if it was like a change of outfit or if this is a different person. She's like, what the fuck? I loved like just the energy. She's like, there's an awesome energy in this. Really great. Again, someone who dances really well can really add a huge amount to a video. You can base an entire video around a really good expressive dancer. And all of them do a really good job in this. This really hit hard. But one thing I have to say, and this is one thing I want to add on to the end of this, one of the reasons why this works so well for me is there's probably a little elephant in the room that a few of you have noticed, which is that I'm usually not a big fan of songs where the bass just sort of holds the chord pattern. And that's kind of what the bass does. The bass doesn't really do anything here. And I think the reason why it gets away with this here, and the reason why it works so well, is because in this particular song, this is very much about this. There's such a high contrast between the quiet bit and the loud bit here that the loud bit is literally just this wall of sound. And as a result, everything is playing together. You have the keyboards, the guitar, the drums, all just moving as this one thick movement. And it's over so quickly. It just comes in, bang, and it's done. And in a way, that it means it gets away with it. Would this have done better if the bass line had slightly deviated? Maybe, but I think this is one of those rare examples where I can actually say the bass following the guitar and everything just moving in this one thick unison works because of the fact that it's designed to be a song which is clearly not trying to do anything super layered and complicated. It's more just about the contrast between quiet and loud and executing that build up of tension. And for me, that means that the chorus being just this simple blast of energy is great. I will also say, for anyone who noticed in my previous comments about some of the other songs, including the last one we listened to, I did kind of point out that there were certain songs where I felt like we were hearing the same, like, the same scale was coming up a lot in a lot of the melodies. This has a very different scale in the melody. I think the vocal scale is in a very different... This feels very different from a lot of the songs we've had up until this point. This feels definitely very unique, and I love the fact there's so many songs on this album that I can point to and say they genuinely feel unique. They genuinely feel extremely different. We have the songs like Lovin', like Romanticism, Autonatu, the Attitude, I guess you'd say. We have the songs that are definitely of the Mrs. Green Apple signature sound, but we have a lot of songs on here that are going in a totally different direction. Inferno, not so much, a little bit. Viking, very much. Propose, super experimental, playing around with a lot of things there. Kimosabi, definitely. And now How To as well. I'm really impressed by how much of this album does take them in a very different direction. So when I talk about the songs that maybe don't do that, don't take it the wrong way. Anyway, I really enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Get in the comments, tell me what you think. Sorry, this has been a bit of a rambling explanation. This one definitely caught me by surprise, so I had to gather my thoughts together. This is the biggest problem with doing a first reaction, is that sometimes it can be difficult to gather your thoughts together and really explain what you're thinking when the song is going in a direction that you totally did not expect. But it's also kind of fun. I hope you enjoyed watching me scramble for words and try and work out how to explain everything I thought about this. Anyway, as always, get in the comments, tell me what you think, and until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.